Welcome to my presentation of computer science. In this presentation, I will cover the topics 1.1.10 to the topic 1.1.12. Evaluate different methods of delivering user training. What is user training? User training is training the user to make them learn how to effectively utilize a system, whether it is a new one or an old one, but normally it is a new implementing one. There are many different ways of delivering user training. The first way is self-instruction. Users can learn how to use a new system on their own, provided they have the right material to learn from. The material can take form of reading a manual or watching a tutorial. An advantage is that it is very cheap, as you only need materials. However, users have no guidance, so they might feel lost or overwhelmed. Formal classes. Here, users sit in a classroom listening to an instructor or expert who shows and explains them how to use the system. An advantage is that there is an expert on hand, so if the users have doubts or questions, they can have them answered by an expert. However, it is very expensive, as you need teachers, buildings, and facilities. Remote or online training. Here, an instructor trains one user or a small group of users by some kind of remote connection: Skype, Google Hangouts, FaceTime, Zoom, etc. An advantage is that it is very flexible with the location and time, as users can take the classes whenever and wherever they want. However, it has to be computer-based, so if the users don't have a computer or an electronic device near them, they can't attend the class. A past IB question was: evaluate two different methods of delivering user training. This question has 6 marks, so in order for the student to get full marks, they need to firstly tell the definition of one method, an advantage and a disadvantage, and then do the same for a second one. Then they need to compare and evaluate the two methods. The example that the IB math scheme answer has gave us is the following one. Two methods of delivering user training are formal classes and online training. Formal classes are users sitting in a classroom listening to an instructor who shows and explains them how to use the system. Advantages: structured learning environment, expert on hand to answer questions, curriculum designed to teach all aspects. Disadvantages: expensive, rigid schedule and curriculum, not much personalization possible, and if class is too big, there is little time to deal with individual problems and questions. Online training. Online training is when an instructor trains one user or a small group of users by some kind of remote connection. Advantages: structured learning environment, expert on hand to answer questions, flexible locations. Disadvantages: expensive, can feel remote with no quick hands-on, and has to be computer-based. Finally, the best method is online training, as it is the most effective way of training, as it can be suited to users' needs and abilities while being instructed by a professional that caters to specific needs. Identify a range of causes of data loss. Data loss is when data is lost, and it can be devastating for companies and organizations, making it crucial for them to understand causes about it. Leading causes of data loss include hardware or system malfunction, human error, for example, clicking close instead of save, software corruption, malicious software, viruses, or natural disasters. A past IB question of this topic was: identify 3 causes of data loss. This question had 3 marks, so in order for the student to get full marks, the student needs to identify and write down 3 causes of data loss. The example that the IB math scheme has gave us is the next one. 3 causes of data loss are hardware failure, human error, natural disasters. Outline the consequences of data loss in a specific situation. Understanding the potential causes of data loss is crucial for organizations and companies to prioritize data protection measures. Consequences of data loss may include financial losses. This is when the company directly loses information and it makes their businesses be interrupted. Reputational damage. It is negative publicity, especially if sensitive customer data is involved, which makes the customers lose confidence and trust on the company. And competitive disadvantage. By losing information and data, the company can have setbacks in research and development efforts compared to other companies. A past IB question was outline two consequences of data loss for a business. This question has 4 marks, so in order for the student to achieve full marks, the student needs to first mention a consequence and explain it correctly with the correct terms and definitions. Then the student needs to do it twice on another consequence. And with that, the student will be able to achieve full marks. The example that the IB math team has gave us is the next one. Two significant consequences of data loss for a business are financial losses, which is when the company loses direct money of data recovery efforts, loss of revenue due to business interruption and potential fines for non-compliance with data protection regulations, reputational damage, which refers to the harm inflicted on an organization's or company's public image, credibility, and stakeholder trust. Thanks for listening and watching this presentation.